first, it may not be immediately obvious, this is a Supra bumper. And that means it's time for a Supra update. The Supra, the car I love to forget I own. So it's been quite a while. The Supra has been sitting somewhere else because we've been doing copious amounts of Primera paint. But as of a few days ago, that has now ended. So I have my space back. And before I bring the low cost back into it, because that's where it lives, I thought, let's get a wee head start on some Supra prep. So not too long ago, I picked up a used bumper for one of these, simply because the one that's on the Supra right now is not great for condition and has a great big duct in the front. I think it's the Group A duct they call it. And whilst that is, you know, a nice thing, it's not very original and it's not exactly a genuine scoop. So I'm going to just delete it. Now the bumper needs paint in the Supra anyway, so might as well get the new bumper on, paint that, and it means if I ever want to put the scooped bumper back on, I have a spare. And if I don't, which is more than likely, we'll have a good bumper. Now, I use that in the future tense because right now we don't have a new bumper. As you can see, there are numerous holes and evidences of crime throughout the years on this. So I've glass fibered them up. We're going to put a wee sand over this and then some filler just to kind of blend them in. Then we need to continue sanding and then do sanding and more sanding because I love sanding. And then it'll be ready for paint. Now, whilst painting and getting it ready to on the car is going to be the obvious next thing, I need to kind of wait a bit because the car's not here and I don't really want to paint it and then have it sitting around waiting to get scratched. And saying that, I could probably put it up in the mezzanine. Yes, let's just paint it. So this will need paint, and the upper nose cone part that sits on top of it, that's currently still in the car, will also need paint. But once they're done, that should tick off the entire front end of the car because everything else was painted on it. And that just leaves us with the body. But this will keep me busy for the moment until it arrives. But anyway, the point being that I'm doing Supra stuff again. That's good. So it's really just Supra and low cost. And probably an MX-5 that needs paint. And everything else in my life. Right, sander. So while we're waiting on that bumper to set, cure, go off, I've got another wee project that we're going to kick off. These are UK Supra seats that I found for quite a reasonable amount of money. Now, why am I buying UK standard leather seats when I have lovely Recaros in mine? A couple of reasons. One, they're not that lovely. There seems to be some strange ball rash going on in the passenger seat. And two, they don't match. And this has irked me for quite some time. The problem being though, Recaro, well, you can't get the fabric anymore, and it's not going to be a cheap thing to retrim seats. So instead what I'm going to do is not put blue leather seats in my grey interior car. We're going to retrim these instead. But wait, Tommy, you just said you don't want to spend the money retrimming Recaros. That's because it's going to be eye-wateringly expensive, but I can retrim these guys that, let's be honest, I don't really care about, and I can do it myself. Because I've happened upon a company in America that will sell a pair of these specific skins in not real leather, but fundamentally grey, the colour they're supposed to be, for 250 quid, which is a wee bit more by the time you import it, but it's pretty cheap. If you were to get this done by a professional retrimmer, it's a 4-figure sum. So a good set of leather seats would be in the region of 300 quid. Well, I'm just skipping to the end and making a good set of leather seats. I don't understand what the obsession was in the 80s with interiors being blue. Now, blue leather, Porsches come with this, and when it's done subtly, it doesn't look too bad, but in the 80s, they really went hell for leather with it. And that actually has kind of stung me because I thought this would be a simple case of reskinning the seats, but it's not. Because remember, the 80s, all of the plastic and trim and, well, just about everything on the seat is blue, which you could probably ignore or deal with, but, well, things get worse when you look at the back. Yeah, the net's blue, the bolts are blue, the plastic bit's blue, everything is blue. But it's a throwaway project. I don't need to worry about the seats. They're going to go in while I eventually work up a solution for the Recaros. So we'll just paint it. What's the worst that can happen? we all know what the worst is going to be. But to work that out, first you must strip. Apologies to my Scotland brethren, it's a Diet Coke Kennedy. So stage one is basically get the base off so we can work with the two sections. Every seat that you'll find will come with a base and a back, and they will be trimmed separately. So in order to retrim them, you need to split them apart. As luck would have it, I'm pretty sure I can access almost all of the top part of this without disrupting any more of the base. And that's important, particularly in the driver's side, because there is a lot of jiggery pokery and funk that you need to kind of deal with, and I don't want to deal with it. The less you can disrupt the mechanical side, the better. So now we've got the base off, we can strip that, strip this, and see what we're left with. Now, a little point in these little clips, using the base for demonstration, you'll see that all of the leather trim is actually clipped into place with little twisted bits of metal. They're actually quite easy to remove. Get a set of pliers, grab it, and twist it. They're basically oversized staples. Once you've sort of deformed it a wee bit, they'll pop out. They just look a bit like that. These you can toss because you can put the new skin back on just using cable ties. They are obnoxious. These ones are all covered in rust, and you will definitely need a tetanus if you think you're going to reuse them. So we won't. So one removed back seat cover. This is the driver's seat, unlike the one you just seen. So it's got all the motors to give the hug bolsters power and the lumbar support power. Now, unfortunately, my Supra has neither of those loom functionalities because it's the TTR and it's Ricado's. But we're not going to delete it. All I've done is put some 12 volt power feeds into this to wind it back to zero so that it's not digging into my spine. So all of that will just remain as is, and then we'll reconnect the plugs up and just leave the loom in for whatever I do. Maybe I'll sell this to somebody else. It would be nice to still have it in place. So having had to dig about in here though, I have noticed there are obviously the clips that hold the rest of the front skin on. The clips go up here. Interesting point about the headrest. I'm not entirely sure how this is going to come apart, but it's actually a zip. It's pretty wild. So yeah, that just goes on as a wee cover and gets zipped. Cute. So that'll come off fairly simply in a moment. And then we'll need to look into all of this stuff because I would like to think it all lifts off, but I don't know for sure. There's also blue plastic trim that I'll still need to get out and paint. So more exploration, but fundamentally it's just more ripping stuff off. So let's carry on. Terminator seats. This is now fully removed. It looks Terminator seaty because there's more removed here than there should be. The problem is there's a lot of padding that remains on the skin, which you will need to retain. So this is the skin here. As you can see, the bits that fold over the nice 80s headrests, we'll actually need to remove these plastic bits and the padding and put them in the new skin. Also, do not forget these wee rubber bits that I pointed out. They actually pull the seat skin on and keep it from flapping about, as do these weird, I don't know if you can really see them yet, but I'll take them out. There's little metal poles in the top and in the bottom bit. They'll need to come out. The new seat covers don't come with them. So they are needed because they'll get zip tied or whatever to the sort of springy bits in the back and hold it all in place. So we'll strip them out, but while we're on the subject of new seat covers, not a very good one, and I'm instantly overheating. But yeah, these are what they look like. They're actually pretty good quality. Obviously they're not genuine leather, but we all knew that was going to be the case. But now they look exactly like the ones that came off. So shape-wise, I'd imagine they're okay. There'll be a bit of trial and error. I'm fairly sure I know what way around that's going to go, but I've been wrong before. So we'll maybe hold off putting, or will we put this on first? I think we'll put this on first so we've got the space, because that was the last thing we took off. But that's the headrest. We've also got the skin for the back, which, as you remember, we need to put these wee bars into so that we can pull all this into the seat and make sure that it's nice and tight. But it looks like it's got all of the space and such for things to go into, so this is looking good. And all you're going to hear there is just the sound of leatherette crinkling because it's right next to my mic. But anyway, that's the guy. Let's try and fit it. Right, that will need some mild manipulation, but it is more or less done. Let's do this. Christ, that was maybe the easy bit. My fingers are absolutely burning now. So it makes sense. Obviously there are many ribs that keep the seat leather kind of attached to the seat. Namely, a strip here, down there and across there. But you can just about see them. There's metal bars that run obviously through the back of the foam. And there's also metal bars that sit in the leather. I don't know why I was so sympathetic taking the old blue leather off. I should have just got a knife out and cut it and then dealt with the things. But a part of me always wants to make sure that when I take things off, I do it the same way I'd put something on, so I know I'm not missing a step. But now I definitely know I'm going to have some steps here. So to put this back on, I'm going to run the cable ties in first, ready to accept the new skin, so that when I put it in, I can just kind of manipulate it around, pull it all tight, and then we can fold it all over when it's done. What a palaver. Christ, the seat back was the easier part of the two. Right, my fingers are on fire. That was a hateful job, however. We've got trim. So now, well, now we need to get the plastic sorted out. So let's just work out how I'm going to do that. These are already dirty. Right, seats are done. The trims are in paint, except for one, the back bit. Now, I was actually just prepared to go and paint this until I looked in the back and I realised, wait, no, this is actually leather as well. Handy, the kit doesn't come with this part of leather. And of course, being blue, it's completely the wrong colour. Being leather is not going to respond well to being painted. So we're going to have to come up with something a bit more ingenious. Therefore, I've had a wee think, because this blue bit is plastic, this netting is blue also, but we don't need net. It's not 1994. Road maps are a thing of the past. You just delete it. So get some foam, get some fabric of my own, and let's get this done. Well, we only just snapped that back from the jaws of failure, but this is nice. Look at the trails. Very fabric, much suede. It's obviously not suede because I'm not made of money. It is suede effect, but it's padded, so you know it feels nice. It offsets lightly, so light grey, dark grey kind of goes with the trims. Because one thing I really hate about seats is when everything's one colour and it just kind of looks a bit meh. So I'm quite happy with this. We've got two done, but I'm going to stop here because there's a very good reason I can't fit them to the car right now. So for the moment, we're going to just say TBC on that bumper I was doing, TBC on a lot of things, and in the next episode, we'll put these in the car. So don't forget to get your parents' permission before you like, bell and subscribe. And to all the Patreons running up the side of the screen, thank you for your patience. I know this has been a while since we put a video out, but we are back and there's more to come. And until next weekend, guys, drive safe.